An emergency fund is often introduced as a target number. Reach 10,000, 20,000, or some other impressive balance, and the job appears finished. But a cash buffer is not a trophy sitting on a shelf. Its practical meaning is time. It answers a quieter question: if normal income paused, how long could essential parts of life keep moving? That shift from money to time matters because the same balance can mean very different things in different households. AED 10,000 might cover several months of a modest essential baseline. It might cover a much shorter period where rent, transport, care, or family obligations are higher. The balance alone is incomplete. A runway needs both a starting amount and a monthly rate of use. Imagine Samira, an operations assistant whose ordinary month contains both essential costs and flexible spending. Her essential baseline is AED 4,500. That includes AED 2,600 for rent, AED 500 for utilities and phone, AED 1,100 for groceries and basic transport, and AED 300 as a monthly average for necessary medical and insurance costs. Dining out, gifts, entertainment, and optional shopping sit outside this stripped-down baseline. Samira has AED 13,500 in a separate emergency buffer. The round balance sounds substantial, but the time view is clearer. AED 13,500 divided by AED 4,500 equals 3 months of essential runway. That does not predict exactly what would happen during a disruption. Costs can change, and an emergency may create a new expense. It does give the balance a useful unit. Samira is not looking at a pile of money, she is looking at roughly 3 ordinary essential months. The essential baseline is the key part of the picture. Using total lifestyle spending can make the runway look shorter than it might be during a temporary squeeze, because some flexible costs could pause. Using only rent can make the runway look unrealistically long, because food, transport, utilities, care, and other necessary roles do not disappear. The baseline is an estimate of what must keep working, not a fantasy minimum and not a normal spending wish list. This is also why copying another person's target can mislead. Suppose 2 people each have AED 12,000. One has essential monthly costs of AED 3,000. The other has essential monthly costs of AED 6,000. Their account balances match, but their time is not the same. One balance represents 4 months, the other represents 2. The comparison is not about who is more responsible. It shows that resilience depends on the relationship between the buffer and the costs it may need to carry. A time-based view also separates an emergency buffer from planned spending. If annual registration, school supplies, or a known repair is due on a visible date, that cost already has a job. Calling the same money both a planned cost fund and an emergency buffer counts one balance twice. Separate roles make the runway more honest. Known dates belong to planned cost money. The emergency buffer is for disruption that cannot be neatly placed on the calendar. Runway can change without the account balance moving. If rent rises, a family member needs regular support, or transport becomes more expensive, the same cash covers fewer months. If an essential obligation ends, the same cash may cover more. That means the useful review is not only, did the balance grow? It is also, did the monthly baseline change? A still photograph of cash can hide a moving clock. There is no universal number of months that fits every person. Income stability, household responsibilities, access to support, insurance, health, and the difficulty of replacing income all affect what the time means. The educational point is not to prescribe one target. It is to replace a vague round number with a measurable relationship. Buffer divided by essential monthly costs equals approximate runway. Seen this way, progress becomes easier to describe. A growing buffer may move from 1 pay period to 2, then from 1 month to 2. A lower essential baseline can also extend time. Each change adds options: more time to handle an interruption, more time to avoid a rush decision, or more time to let a normal income path restart. An emergency fund is therefore less like a medal and more like a clock that can be reset. Identify the roles that must continue, estimate their monthly baseline, compare that baseline with the protected cash, and revisit the estimate when life changes. The number matters, but the time it represents is the real lesson. Educational only, not financial advice.